on this episode of MythBusters.
Jamie, I've got a present for you.
Welcome to Hollywood Explosions on Trial.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
I got the chicken!
And Jamie Heineman.
What could go wrong?
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Tori Belleci.
Let's chop this car up!
Grant Imahara.
Nothing just touched me!
And Carrie Byron. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Looks dangerous.
It is very dangerous. This is possibly the most dangerous story we've ever filmed.
Fire!
It didn't go off. We have a live grenade. We cannot leave this bunker until we deal with this situation.
Let me guess, it involves a grenade.
You're like a mind reader. Yes, it totally does. Pop quiz, hotshot. What would you do if someone threw one of these at you?
Why, you kiss your ass goodbye.
That is one solution. Another solution, favored by Hollywood movie action heroes, pull out a gun and shoot it out of the air.
That wouldn't be my first thought, but I guess you're either going to set it off or knock it back the other way. Either way, you're going to have to be a darn good shot.
And that is where I think we need to begin. Getting some practice shooting things that are flying through the air.
Okay.
It's a standard action movie move. To protect yourself from an incoming grenade, you take it out midair, where one of three things can happen. It explodes safely, it's rendered inert, or it's sent back from whence it came.
Now, when it comes to shooting objects out of midair, that's a sport, actually, called trap shooting or skeet shooting. I think it's this way.
Pull.
And when you want to do that in the Bay Area,
Pull.
you come here, to the Coyote Valley Sporting Clay.
You must be Dave.
Our teacher today is Dave Radu.
Pull.
He's been an instructor for 16 years, and he's going to teach Jamie and I how to rid the world of the scourge of clay pigeons.
So, Dave, how's all this work?
Well, we have a machine right here behind us, and all we do is push the button here and launches a target.
Oh, that's fun all by itself.
It's more fun to break them, though.
It would be an understatement to say we've fired a lot of guns in the course of doing this show.
You'll come across.
Over the years, we've fired pistols, rifles, cannons. We fired from moving cars at moving cars.
I'm feeling pretty shot up.
We've even fired bullets at other bullets. But this time we're trying to hit a moving target in midair.
Pull.
We were close, but not close enough.
Training on clay pigeons so that hopefully we can hit a grenade.
Pull.
If they can't even hit a moving target, then the myth falls at the first hurdle.
Pull.
And at first, it's not as easy as Hollywood would have us believe.
Yeah, I was a little behind it.
But they've got a great teacher.
Pull.
Nice shot. Fantastic. Very nice shot.
Oh.
There we go.
Hey!
Beautiful shot. Oh, I was just going to tell you about that.
We've been shooting at these clays from the side, but if you're trying to avoid getting hit by a grenade, You're going to be more concerned when they're coming right at you.
Yeah, I got it.
Like that.
Oh! Very well done. Nice shot.
Interestingly, the more realistic oncoming trajectory is a lot easier to hit. So far, this myth is moving in the right direction.
Sweet.
Pull!
Yeah! It's not a bad way to spend the day. We fired at things traveling perpendicular to our line of sight.
Pull!
And we fired at things coming straight towards us. And for my money, shooting at something coming straight towards you is like 4 times as easy.
So, Adam,
Yes, sir.
to celebrate our newly found skills, I'm going to go over behind that building over there and toss my beret out.
No way. And let me shoot at it?
You've got 1 shot.
I'll take it.
Pull! I can't tell if I hit. Did I hit it? I think you did. Oh! Sorry. Let's go take a look. All right.
I think you did. There's the proof.
Dude, I get to keep this some stuff and mounted in my trophy case.
Well, what am I going to wear?
We'll get you another beret.
Okay, you let me know when it arrives.
For those of you that thought that Jamie's beret was bulletproof, myth busted. Yeah.
Seconds from disaster? I'm not sure I like the sound of this one.
No, this is gonna be a good one. This is that old cliche Hollywood device where the hero finds himself in the possession of a bomb that's about to go off.
Candygram.
Instead of letting it explode, he surveys his surroundings and then finds a place to stash it.
Like a filing cabinet or under a mattress, it goes off and he's unharmed.
The question is this gonna work in real life? Can you stash it, dive, survive?
Well, it sounds like we're gonna have to set off some explosions. You know how much we hate that. So we're here at the Alameda County Bomb Range to see what items that you would find in your household that could protect you from an explosion. Now, the amount we're gonna be using is a pound of C4.
When in doubt, C4.
So what is C4? Well, its technical designation is cyclotrimethylene trinitramine. When you want a high-velocity explosive that's also very stable, C4 can't be beat. You could set it on fire and it wouldn't go off. You could hit it with a hammer and it wouldn't detonate. What it does take to detonate C4 is det cord or a blasting cap.
The explosion of the blasting cap applies a really powerful shock that triggers the C4 explosive material. As the C4 decomposes, it releases a variety of gases that expand at over 26,000 feet per second. Now, before we can find out if you can contain that explosion, we need to find out what its power is without containment. And for that, we're gonna do a control.
All right, Buster, the bomb's about to go off. Jump.
So how are we measuring the shock wave?
Safe.
With these. Burst discs made by a company called Osico. Now what happens when an explosive goes off is that you have a shock wave that propagates spherically out from the center of the explosion.
All right, so that's 20 feet away from the blast zone.
These are calibrated to burst at a specific PSI. This one is 13 PSI, which we're using to measure injury. Because remember, it's not whether the hero lives or dies, it's whether he walks away unscathed.
Yep, if the pressure wave from the explosion exceeds 13 pounds per square inch and ruptures the discs, then Buster's not walking away. But exactly how far out is that injury zone?
All we need now is JD and a big boom.
Bomb tech JD Nelson has the control rigged up to find out. And back down in the bunker, it's time to count down.
Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Whoa, that was was a good one.
I felt that one. Look at that.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we've got our injury radius at a little bit more than 12 feet. So we've successfully identified the injury zone. For our experiment, this is at 12 feet. At 14 feet, the disc didn't go off, so he'd be safe out there. We're gonna set our guy right here at the 12-foot marker and try it again with our first household item, a filing cabinet.
Pull!
So we're done with skeet shooting, and we didn't do too bad.
Yeah!
But that was skeet.
Oh!
Now we're gonna try our hand at hitting something that's more like a grenade and see if they're any harder to hit. Sweet.
To do that, it's back to the shop, where an old favorite is resurrected.
I call it my little pop gun.
And rejigged to launch paintball grenades
That looks badass.
the same distance as if they were thrown.
Gun is hot.
3, 2, 1.
That was an awesome sound.
With a little more air pressure and some room to play with, they'll soon be lobbing their fake grenades realistic distances.
That is a stunning piece of equipment and my favorite noise we've ever made.
That's my little pop gun.
And back on location,
This looks like a good spot.
All right.
the pop gun is lined up and ready to launch.
Adam, are you ready for a range finding test?
Indeed I am, sir. Now, dialing in Jamie's pop gun involves adjusting the air pressure behind the rubber grenade up or down to get its throw exactly where we want it.
1.
Yep, that right there. That's too far. Where do we want it? Ramp it up just a little bit. Well, we want it to be a reasonable distance, as if thrown by a person. We want a reasonable amount of hang time, and no, that's pretty much it, just those two. Perfect.
Which means it's shooting time.
Just like with skeet shooting, we're using a 12-gauge shotgun and bird shot.
All right, sir, loading.
Why bird shot? Well, because it doesn't travel very far, and so it doesn't pose a hazard for anybody outside the immediate area.
This is it.
Gun is hot.
It's all very well hitting a harmless clay pigeon that's designed to float, but how about a less than aerodynamic paintball grenade?
Pull.
Nice!
That was the most satisfying trap shooting ever.
Well, our skeet shooting training paid off in space.
Pull.
I was able to knock 4 out of 5 paintball grenades right out of the sky, as evidenced by their carnage here on my board.
I watched it rain down on me.
But a paintball grenade doesn't kill you,
Pull.
and I have no idea what, if anything, birdshot would do to a real steel grenade.
Yeah!
Nonetheless, I still feel pretty satisfied with myself.
So the thing is that birdshot spreads out in this large pattern that makes the odds relatively high you're going to hit your target. And on top of that, I bet that birdshot's just going to bounce off a steel grenade. It's not going to do anything to it. So what we really want to know is what the odds are of actually hitting an incoming grenade with a single bullet. And then, of course, what's the likelihood of you being able to disable it as well?
All right, sir, I'm ready.
12 feet away from 1 pound of exploding C4 will result in serious injury. But Hollywood would have us believe you could walk away unscathed.
You got this from Jamie's office?
by dropping the ticking time bomb in a handily located, supposedly boom-proof container.
I'm trying to find my contract right now.
Like a filing cabinet.
Okay, so this is our same 13 PSI injury indicating burst disc.
I don't remember agreeing to washing Jamie's mustache.
And remember, with no containment devices, 1 pound of C4 caused this disc to go off at this 12-foot range.
Well, I'll be damned. I guess I have to wash his mustache.
The goal here is to see if the containment devices serve as some kind of protection. And to indicate that, if this disc does not go off, then that means, you know what? There's no injury at this range, and they did their job.
But there's another injury consideration to take into account.
You're probably asking yourself, why do you guys have these styrofoam cutout blue guys? Well, those are our shrapnel catchers, because if the shockwave doesn't injure you, the shrapnel might.
Yep, this time it's not just the shockwave Buster has to survive. There's going to be debris.
All right, so in a cartoon world, it makes sense. You shove a bomb inside of a file cabinet and it holds the bomb in and you get away safe. But I think in reality, no way. I think you're adding containment, which is going to give the explosion more oomph. You're also adding shrapnel into the equation, which is going to throw metal straight at you. I think this is going to make things worse. In 3, 2, 1.
Well, there goes your files. Oh my God.
Wow!
That is a mess of paper.
It's just confetti.
All right, let's see if it helped.
Well, as far as the pressure wave goes, the filing cabinet did offer some protection. The disc at 12 feet, the dive to survive zone, did not burst.
Okay, so the cabinet did save you from the shockwave, but you're gonna be killed by the shrapnel. I mean, look at that guy's head. It's been ripped off.
Oh, putting the bomb in the filing cabinet? What was I thinking? Ugh.
Yeah, there are large pieces of metal that are 100 feet away. File cabinet was busted. I mean, this is a disaster. It may have helped the shockwave, but the shrapnel? Imagine gas is moving at 26,000 feet per second, pushing this straight towards you. Ouch! Will you take this?
Now we're gonna move on to a bed.
Ooh, I kind of want some red silky sheets now. This is nice.
Ooh, these are fancy. Now you might be asking yourself, how would you use a bed to protect yourself from an explosion? Cue the dream sequence. Wait for this, it's a little disturbing. That could work.
Now, my personal feeling is it's not exactly oriented in the right direction to give you the most protection.
You know how excited I am about blowing up this bed?
In fact, if you sandwich the explosive right between, right here, you're in line with it.
That boy ain't right.
So I think what we're gonna have is a burst disc and a lot of shrapnel-filled guys.
Here we go, in 3, 2, 1.
That was really interesting. All the energy went up and I didn't see any shrapnel go out towards the guys.
I will be so shocked if stuffing a bomb under your bed actually saves you. You've got to be kidding me.
I think we might have found something that's actually bomb-proof.
Yeah, I mean, look, the burst discs aren't even burst.
And the shrapnel catchers? Well, they caught nothing but a gentle rain of mattress stuffing. And Grant has to fess up.
Okay, I admit it, I was wrong. I'm absolutely astounded at how well the mattress worked at both absorbing the shockwave and preventing deadly shrapnel from hitting our guys. And if you look at the high speed, you'll see exactly why. All the energy went straight up into the air. But up next is a fish tank full of water, and that is a totally different animal.
Welcome back. It's guns versus grenades on MythBusters. And truth be told, if someone has just thrown one of these at you and you have enough time to see it and pull a gun to try and shoot at it,
Pull.
the kind of gun you're gonna have ready access to, it's gonna be something like this. But unlike a shotgun, this only fires a single round, a single piece of lead. Can you even hit this in midair with this? Well, that's what Jamie and I are about to try and find out.
This time they're using a real but inert grenade. But there's a hitch with the gun.
The shooter stands here.
Firing a real one can't be done safely.
Hand grenade lobber goes here. We've chosen this spot because it's miles away from habitation. But even so, we're loath to shoot anything straight up in the air other than bird shot. And with that in mind, we've chosen paintball pistols to do our test. Because if we can hit them with those, we should be able to hit them with a real pistol.
All right, sir. I'm ready.
Equally,
Okay, here we go. Throwing the grenade in 3.
if they miss with the paintball pistol, they're likely to miss with a real one.
Totally missed it. Let's try again.
The myth is hitting its first hurdle. Because Adam's certainly not hitting any grenades.
I ran out of ammo. I got close, though.
They've proven the wide spray of shotgun shot works. But the silver screen scene in question usually involves a weapon firing a single bullet at a time. And that's proving very, very difficult.
Oh! I got it!
But not impossible.
There is paintball paint on that puppy.
Can be done.
It can be done. It can be done. I was really starting to lose hope there.
I would have killed you 20 times, but eventually you would have got it. I'm ready.
Look, if someone's throwing a grenade at me, I'm gonna use anything at my disposal to try and save my life. If that means fruitlessly shooting a whole clip of rounds at that thing with a 1% chance of hitting it,
I got it.
I'm gonna take those odds. Nice!
Right in the middle.
Beautiful. But the real question is, what happens to a grenade when you hit it with a real bullet? That's the question we're gonna answer next.
We're testing different household items that can mythically contain the blast of a bomb. You've got to be kidding me. This test, we're using a pound of C4, and we're throwing it inside of a fish tank.
Candygram.
To measure it all, we have our Osico burst discs and our shrapnel catchers. This will tell us if a fish tank is enough to take on 1 pound of C4.
Anybody else feel like going to the bathroom? So what do I think is going to happen here? Well, I see an incompressible fluid,
Be free.
surrounded by a 3/8-inch acrylic tank.
Bait fish.
The water is not going to really absorb the explosion. Rather, it's going to transmit that out to the edges of the tank, which is going to shatter into a million razor-sharp acrylic pieces. Personally, I just don't see this saving anyone. I think it's going to really send some shrapnel everywhere. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God, that was awesome!
That did not look good for our diving would-be survivor. But what's the evidence say?
Wow.
That was spectacular.
Dude, look at this mess.
The damage is not nearly what I thought it was going to be.
And the Osico disc survived, which means our hero would have survived the shockwave.
Yeah, and look at the guys. I mean, there's no shrapnel in them. They look relatively unharmed.
I think all of us are pretty surprised by this result. We thought this was gonna shred, and there'd just be frag and shrapnel in all our guys, but that's not what happened. And it looked like all of the energy was focused on the front and the back of the tank, which was elevated. So if you hit the deck, you might walk away from this unscathed. I think we can actually call this plausible.
Agreed. I think it's plausible as well.
Shocking.
That was awesome.
But they're not done yet. Next up is
This, a wall safe. Now this is the strongest thing we have tested so far. It's a steel box with half-inch thick walls. The scenario is this. You have a bomb about to go off, you throw it inside the safe, you close it, you get out of the way.
Now we've taken extra steps to make sure this is as realistic as possible.
That safe is half-inch thick steel all the way around.
We built the safe into a wall.
It's designed to be something that's not easily open.
We put insulation in the wall.
It's like a giant fuzzy caterpillar. The explosive is gonna have to expend a lot of energy in order to get to the guy.
I love what you've done with the place.
I think that the safe is going to protect against the shockwave, and I think the guy's gonna be okay.
In 3. So the question is, will this be the winning combination that keeps him safe? 2. Well, if he survives that pun, anything's possible. 1. Oh, wow. And raining down shrapnel.
I'm pretty sure that was the opposite of safe.
Yep, although the shockwave was funneled away from the discs, leaving them intact.
Wow, that is total devastation.
That's the least of our Hollywood heroes' problems.
Look, the safe door is in the side of the mountain. There is just like spears of wood sticking into the guy. He's covered in shrapnel.
It's the fragment pattern that's key. Unlike the aquarium, the distribution was thorough, and the obviously lethal projectiles took out everyone.
Well, bombing a safe clearly did not work out so well. But up next, we're going big, really big.
Welcome to Angel's Camp Quarry, because next up, the team is ramping it up.
Now, what's the scenario? That's right. It's a garbage truck. Imagine this. It's early in the morning, you go to your mailbox and you find, what is it? A bomb! What am I gonna do with it? Oh, I know, it's trash day. Throw it in the garbage truck.
Now he has 2 options. He can jump away from the truck, dive here, or he could jump off to the side and let this steel wall protect him. Because of that, we're gonna have 2 different setups. We're gonna have a shrapnel catcher with the burst disc here and another shrapnel catcher with the burst disc here, and see whether or not this garbage truck will protect him.
Well, that depends on your position. See, our explosive is gonna be right in the tray here, exposed to the open air. If we look at both the blast wave pressure and the frag, all the guys in this zone, this is the danger zone, man. However, if you look at the wall of the garbage truck, that's probably not gonna frag. In fact, that's probably gonna direct all of that energy out this way, which means the guys on this side, they're gonna be totally fine.
All right, here we go with 1 pound of C4 in the trough of a garbage truck. In 3, 2, 1, fire.
Yeah, that was a pretty big pop. Let's go see if they survive.
Well, I think it's obvious you don't want to stand behind the truck. This guy's blown to bits and the Seco disc is blown.
All right, well, over here on the side, looks like you'd fare a whole lot better. In fact, you'd survive without injury.
If you jump off to the side, you would survive. This one's looking plausible.
So plausible by proximity.
So what have we learned from this experiment? Well, when selecting a household item as a potential bomb disposal area, it's important to look at where the energy is going to go. Completely containing all that energy is a very bad idea. But if you find an item that can focus the energy in one direction, like the mattress or the aquarium or in the garbage truck, and you jump away from that direction and hit the deck, you significantly increase your chances of survival.
You guys, we're here. We have a truck, we have experts, and we have a lot of explosives. I say we do this MythBusters style.
Let's make it disappear.
It's time to go boom.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pull.
We're done with our target practice on fake grenades. So now it's time to break out the real ones.
Looks pretty innocuous, doesn't it? It is, in fact, pretty small compared to some of the things we've blown up over the history of MythBusters. But in fact, these grenades are incredibly dangerous and have all of us in our bomb techs quite nervous. So in order to properly experiment with these, we have come to a large tract of private land in Gold Country, east of the MythBusters shop, where we have thousands of acres of clear land all around us in order to experiment with these. God, I love operating the big machinery. Countless times on this show, we have armored ourselves behind these blast chamber panels to watch dangerous things happen, hopefully right on the other side. Perfect. That's perfect. I love it. But this setup, where our blast chamber panel is bordered on both sides by inch-thick plates of steel, this is the most armored we have ever required ourselves to be out in the field.
That's because it's not just an explosive pressure wave they're dealing with. The steel body of the grenade is designed to spray lethal fragments at over 25,000 feet per second in every direction. And the nightmare scenario is a misfire. To prepare for that, Jamie's recreated his own nightmare.
Normally, bomb disposal robots cost around 100 grand or so. This is my version. Behold the bomb baby. This is about a $200 remote control truck. I put some servos for arms, a baby head, and most importantly, through this camera, I'll be able to see what's going on from the safety of our reinforced bunker.
Those are the safety precautions. But what's the first test?
Time to wire up a little control. Before we get to shooting guns at these things, they have a timed fuse. All right, go ahead and make it go up. I.e., after you pull the pin and release the spoon, there's a few seconds before they blow up. How many seconds? That's what we need to determine by blowing one up. I knew that was a dud.
But this one isn't. Blaine, the bomb tech, pulls the pin and then traps the spoon of the live grenade in the tube. When it's raised, the spoon will pop,
And we're hot!
the delay fuse will light, and we'll find out exactly how long it takes a grenade to go boom.
I feel quite tense about this.
We're all ready?
Yep.
Everybody's clear? Here we go. Going up. I heard the cap go. Wow.
I heard stuff hit us. That was intense, man. It is a momentous day. Why? Because in the first time of 10 years of doing MythBusters, I have finally heard the cartoon ricochet sound of pew
Wow.
as a piece of grenade shrapnel bounced off the bulletproof glass. The bulletproof glass thus saved my and Jamie's life. Just what it was supposed to do.
The key reason for this test was to check our timing, because we need to know how much time it takes for the grenade to go off once the spoon pops up.
That was 5 seconds exactly. Time for some guns. We're just about to start firing guns at grenades, and we've been thinking about it, and we think one of 3 things is going to happen for each of these shots. Either the round will render the grenade inert and maybe decimate it. That's 1. 2 is it could actually detonate it and explode it in midair. Or 3, it could bring enough energy to the equation to actually send the grenade back to where it came. I'm curious as to what the result is actually going to be.
To find out, the setup is simple.
All right then.
It's been established an oncoming grenade can be taken out. But with live ammo, they're taking no chances.
3, 2, 1, go. Perfect.
These are the weapons we'll be using on our grenade today, and we'll be firing 4 kinds of ammunition out of these 3 weapons. We've got a .308 round, a .45 caliber pistol round, 12-gauge deer slug round, and a 12-gauge double-aught buck round.
Oh, it looks pretty dead on. I'll leave the rest to the bomb squad.
Now here's where things get interesting. I think the .308 round is going to be by far the most effective round against the grenade. But its rifle is by far the most difficult one to hit a grenade in midair with. While at the other end of the spectrum, we've got the shotgun, used for trap shooting, the easiest weapon to use to hit a grenade in midair. But I think this, the double-aught buck round, will be the least effective against the grenade. But wait, I hear you asking, where's the spoon? Where's the pin? Where's that complex mechanical thing you built for setting this off like real life? Here's the thing, we looked at the whole experiment, and just working with grenades made us feel so wiggy. We are in fact going to set off these grenades electronically from the safety of the bunker. It's functionally identical to the operation of the grenade the other way, and it's a lot safer.
First up, the shotgun and the lightweight buckshot.
Okay. Arming.
Will it detonate the electronically triggered grenade?
Armed.
Or render it inert?
3,
Or even knock it back 30 feet?
2,
Cartoon style.
1, fire. Where'd it go?
I don't know. It didn't go off. Crap.
Yeah.
We got ourselves a situation now.
The grenade's delay fuse was remotely triggered, Adam fired the shotgun, and the grenade was knocked off the stand. But there was no explosion.
And now, somewhere out there, we have a live grenade. We cannot leave this bunker until we deal with this situation. You want to fire up the baby?
Turns out that the garbage truck is plausible. Our hero would have survived that blast. But now it's my favorite time where we ramp it up and see if we can make that garbage truck not so bomb-proof. So we're gonna load it up with 200 pounds of ammo and see if we can make this thing disappear. Now, does this remind you of anything?
This is like cement truck all over again.
And this is the quarry where we actually blew it up. Now, one thing everybody complains about is you guys don't have a high-speed shot. We don't have to worry about that this time. We have our high-speed camera standing by, and we're gonna get that shot. Isn't that right, Willie? No pressure.
So we've taken all the data that we needed for this experiment. We've analyzed the results and presented our conclusion. Pretty much there's no science left. What we're about to do, we're going to do for fun. May we present, for your explosion enjoyment, the garbage truck.
This is Garbage Truck versus a whole lot of info. In 3, 2, 1.
same height as us! Whoa!
Woohoo!
That was intense.
Now that's an explosion. No CGI, no unlikely survivors. Just a whole load of big boom in glorious 5,000 frames a second high speed.
Wow. Way to ramp things up, guys.
Well, that's one way to take out the trash.
You know what the best part about all this is? Through the magic of editing, we can watch this experiment over and over again.
Fire! Where'd it go?
It didn't go off.
But why? Before they fire up the bomb baby, Adam fires up the high-speed camera.
Oh, criminy, Jamie, come here. Dude, watch this.
No more grenade.
Well, we don't have a live grenade out there. We've got a bunch of dust.
Wow.
I totally did not see that coming.
Darn, I wanted to wake the baby up.
That's a result. Unbelievably, it seems that you can indeed shoot a live grenade and render it inert.
It's amazing. It
didn't-
disintegrated the outer casing, and then, even though this was within its 5-second range, did not let it explode the cap so the TNT didn't blow up.
Wow.
I would not have called that. That's amazing.
The double-odd buck completely disintegrated the grenade, and that frankly surprised us all because double-odd buck is their little .38 caliber lead balls, and you wouldn't think it would be able to do a whole lot to a steel grenade. But it did. It took it completely apart, and it even took apart the blasting cap before it could go off.
An astonishing result. The fuse was lit electronically, but before it could detonate, the buckshot broke up the TNT party. From Hollywood wishful thinking to actual fact.
Next up is a deer slug. That's 1 ounce of solid lead.
With that unexpected result, the question is, which of the 3 potential outcomes will the remaining 3 types of ammo induce?
Arming. 3, 2, 1, fire!
I don't think anything happened.
No. I think it took the grenade in half.
The deer slug had exactly the same effect on a grenade as the double-odd buck. It just goes right through it. Awesome result. These are my favorite kinds of results. I mean, if you remember, we started out this episode doing trap shooting for practice. But the whole time I'm thinking, there's no way those shotgun rounds are gonna have any appreciable effect on the grenade. That the shotgun round rendered the grenade completely safe, not only by blowing it up, but also by rendering its blasting cap inert. This is a case where I absolutely love being that wrong. It's very cool. Next up is a .45 caliber round pointed at the grenade. If you remember, only very recently we discovered it's a lot harder to hit a mid-air grenade with one of these than it is with one of those easy shotgun rounds. As to what it's going to do to the grenade, you ready?
Okay. 45 ACP. 3.
I expect it to have a very similar effect as the double-odd buck.
2.
I think that the .45 cal round is going to turn that thing right into dust.
1. Fire!
Hey! It shot it right up the thing.
The cap went off, but the grenade didn't.
We knocked the grenade off the stand. It looks like we split it in half. So we didn't stop the cap from going off, but we did stop the grenade from blowing up.
That's cool.
That is very cool.
Compared to the buckshot, the 45mm round removed the blasting cap with surgical precision. Either way, it's another myth-confirming result. What's next?
Now we're gonna bring some real energy to the equation by using a 308 sniper round, full metal jacket.
There we go.
As to what this is gonna do to the grenade, I've been wrong for everything so far, so I'm gonna say I have no freaking idea.
3, 2, 1, fire.
The grenade went boom. We didn't disintegrate it, it blew up.
I think so. Let's look at high speed.
Okay.
The high-speed camera, the scalpel, the microscope, the light, the multi-tool for tackling time.
There it is.
And what it shows is
The grenade ignited the second that it penetrated.
That is a thing.
The blasting cap inside a grenade is actually somewhat shock sensitive. And the 308 round is a very, very high-speed round. And that speed translates directly to a certain amount of energy being brought to the equation. And in our case, the 308 round, the very instant it touched the exterior of our grenade, that shock caused the entire thing to detonate early. It was a very, very powerful reaction and an instant one.
Yep, it's the second of 3 potential results, and the most common of the cinematic techniques, the mid-air explosion.
But let's think about that for a second, because if that ignited the grenade at any closer than 45 feet, which is the kill zone for a grenade, you're dead. Further than 45 feet, it starts to become almost impossible to make a shot like that. Yes, in theory, it's possible, but I would duck. Personally, I would just duck.
That worked! So to recap our final results, the high-powered rounds, the 308, actually detonated the grenade, which means that if it's within 50 feet of you, you're dead, sucker. But the low-powered rounds, the 45, and especially the shotgun, both rendered the grenades inert. The shotguns even kept the blasting cap from going off. Pretty much the exact polar opposite of what we thought was gonna happen. Isn't that cool?
So where did we stand with the original question of whether you can protect yourself from a grenade using a gun?
I think we found handily that that is totally the case. Moreover, the weapon that rendered the grenade the most inert was the one that was easiest to shoot it out of the air with, the shotgun.
Yep, so it's plausible.
Totally plausible. Let's get out of here.
Uh-oh. Bad baby.
Run!